What's up, friends? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm your host, Dustin Apple, hashtag Whiteriverrambo of Whiteriverrambo Customs, located in Salem, Indiana. Now, some of my best videos on the YouTubes has been about the Bauer tools. Like, for me, when I can go and get a tool for somewhere between 40 and 100 bucks, I like that, okay? It might be a little bit weaker. It might be, not as quality as something else that's red, but in my opinion, it's pretty damn good. Okay, now I am an aluminum fabricator. You can see I got all kinds of stuff over here. That being said, I'm not working stuff the way a steel fabricator would. Okay, just keep that in mind. However, I do work things a little harder than, say, a wood fabricator would. So I'm kind of in between, I guess. So this is the brand new metal cutting saw. We'll show you the box here. Just released over the last couple weeks the Bauer brushless 390 cuts per charge. I wish I could be like Project Farm and say we're gonna test that. We're not gonna test that. Okay, this is just a simple introduction, show you what's in the box, what you get. Okay, you literally get the tool, that's it. You don't get a wrench, you don't get the blade, you don't get nothing. All right. So the blade is one that's offered by Hercules. Okay, it's a 30 tooth with a 20 millimeter arbor. Kind of weird that it's a 20 millimeter arbor, but it is the egg-shaped arbor too. So I'm guessing a 5/8 would probably fit on there as well. I'll have to check that to get back with you. But when you're running a high torque tool, okay, not necessarily high speed, but a high torque tool, you want to make sure that you're using the biggest battery possible. All my batteries with white tape on them are the 5 amp, and that's what we're going to be using for today's test. Oh, look right there. I found the Allen key. It wasn't in the box. It was in the machine. Okay. But anyway, it is a 5 millimeter for those who want to know. The cutting depth on this, I'm not sure if it's advertised on the box. I'll just go ahead and tell you. With a 5 3/8 blade, the cutting depth on this is, let's call it 1 7/8. Okay. I will say there is a little bit more room in there than a 5 3/8 blade covers. So I'm going to say 5 1/2. You'd probably be fine. Maybe a little bigger than that. But so the whole purpose behind this machine, obviously being mobile, right? But being able to cut small things of metal. And it gives you a list of things that it will cut. I don't cut small things of metal. Okay, I'm either cutting angle or square tubing or sheet or whatever, but it's aluminum. Here's my problem thus far with this already, okay? This was the only blade available for this right now, okay? And it's supposed to be metal cutting only. Well, how about a non-ferrous blade, okay? Because real quickly, I looked and I can't find a 5 1/2 inch blade with, 48 teeth or whatever. For non-ferrous metal, it's going to be a lot smaller teeth and closer together. Well, this one probably will be just fine. We're going to run it through some aluminum today, and I've got a few small pieces of steel over there. Then we're going to cut some angle and see what it's capable of. I'm not going to baby it. I'm not going to tell you that it's great when it isn't. We're just going to record me cutting it, and you can decide for yourself. Come on. All right, just to make sure everybody knows, proper PPE, full leather gloves, full sleeves, and some eye protection. Ear protection probably be a good idea too, but as long as you hear what I'm putting down, right? So 14 gauge steel, just cold rolled. We got, 3-inch wide there. Let's see what happens. Okay, that wasn't bad. First reaction, that's the first cut, obviously. First reaction, I'm gonna take the battery off while I'm talking about it, is me looking right down the side of it like I normally do on a saw. Yes, this is clear and I'm meant to be able to see through it, but it is very hard to try to see through that, especially with the guard all the way up here. See, I can't see the front of the blade right there. Don't care for that. And then if you try to look down over the front of it, like we're all going to, right? There's nothing to look at. You cannot see the front of that blade. Now, I'm probably not going to take this off immediately, but I know some of you will. I don't recommend it, but I'm sure somebody will. All you get for a sight is this little angle or little hole. Don't care for that. So visibility is not the best. I did start with a full charge on my 5-amp battery. Let's hit that a couple more times just to get the feel for it. Okay, second cut. Now granted, that's probably just the right size, right, to get caught up in there, but it did get caught up in there. Don't care for that. I am noticing, once again, let's take this off here. I am noticing, especially with gloves on, I'm a this type of person, okay? I'm sure most of you are. It's got a handhold up here, and you're able to reach this while your thumb for a reason, right? So get the guard out of the way while you're starting. That's just how I cut. Well, by doing that, it is really hard. You want to just sit right here and squeeze the trigger. That's not possible with this because you have to push the safety button before you can squeeze the trigger. And like right now, I can't even squeeze the trigger because I don't have a battery in it, I guess. Could that thing have a safety in it to where, yeah. So, like the brake on it looks like it's really good. Got a little ring to it. Yeah, so it's not, I don't believe this is really meant to be something that's precision. It's probably more or less meant to be a hacking tool for small items, and it absolutely will do that. Let's get some more scrap metal. All right, let's see what this is. Pretty sure it's 1.5 inches. It is 1.5 inches, and that's probably about the same, either 14 or 12 gauge. It's thin wall, either way, about 100 thousandths thick. So 1.5 inches is going to be the full width of the blade. We'll go ahead and cover up, see what happens. Okay, not bad. Small part. I'm, kind of struggling to hang on to it. You can see that's not very square. I didn't take the time to attempt to square anything up. I just ran it right out of the box. This is laying flat, looks to me like. I don't think this thing even, no, it doesn't. It doesn't tilt to an angle, so there's nothing to adjust it on. Well, maybe I was just off the top of it a little bit. Let's try to cut it one more time. And I think I'm all right without gloves right now, so until a hot piece or hot spark reaches over and hits my hand, right? So let's do it again. Tell you what, let's go right there so you can see. Okay. So, once again, not the squarest thing in the world. Got a square lane right here, I'll just show you. So, I'm running out that way. Looks like up and down I am square enough. I'll just turn it this way. You can see, put something clean behind it there. I'm square enough, okay? But running across there, let's see, I run across this way. The saw wants to wander a little bit. It's not bad. It's a heavy 32nd maybe, but it's not a square cut. Okay. Once again, this is a hacking tool. It's not anything precision, in my opinion. Will it cut? Absolutely. Sure will. No problem. As long as you don't have a kickback with the blade, you'll probably be fine. Now, this thing doesn't weigh very much, okay? So make sure anytime you're cutting metal with a saw that you apply down pressure and forward pressure constantly. Do not get lackadaisical and start into the cut and think, oh, well, let's see where I'm at over here, and just, you know, quit pushing. The second that you stop pushing, one little tooth will grab a little bit, you'll get in there sideways, and you'll have a kickback. And as soon as that happens, if you ever have a kickback with a metal cutting blade, you will destroy that blade. All right, let's find something else. Okay, 3/4 angle, that is 1/8 inch. All right, fair enough. I'm just gonna go right across the top of it right here, square it up a little. I mean, once again, it'll cut it. I'm not impressed with the straightness. That time, I was trying to compensate, right? Last time I kind of cut around this way, and then this time I tried to focus on that and push straight, and well, I ended up cutting that way. So I'm not specifically impressed with the ability to hold a straight line. I'll tell you what, benefit of the doubt, let me go right here on the top. Try it one more time. That's a lot better. That's just eyeballing that. That looks really straight. Okay. Kind of give it a roll around there. To my trained eye, that looks pretty straight. Now, you can take that for what it's worth. All right, here's what I want to see. 1/8 inch aluminum, 5 inches wide, something like that, 50-52. Now, I know this has enough power to do it. I know it does. The problem with cutting aluminum is if it is not a clean cut and there is drag on the blade, the side of that blade will provide friction, that part will warm up, and it'll start cutting slower. When the blade starts to get hot, the carbide tips will then gall up and not clean out properly, not shed material. And as soon as that happens, all that aluminum will start to melt on that galled up piece of tungsten, or I'm sorry, carbide. So let's see. This is more of a test of the blade than it is the saw. I'm sure it has enough torque. We'll just more or less see. We've only cut a couple pieces of steel, so let's see what kind of result we get out of this blade. I'm going to follow this edge right down here so I got something to look at, because I really don't have anything. Okay. Make sure I remove my battery because I'm going to inspect things. Now, I don't see anything there that, you know, is alarming. On the blade itself, though, in a steel cutting blade, the carbide is just barely wider than the blade itself. In a non-ferrous blade, that carbide will be a little wider, and then the blade itself will be coated as well as have some heat relief cuts. Now, I'm an aluminum fabricator, okay? I buy my stuff at Harbor Freight, and I'm here to tell you some of the best aluminum cutting blades are the non-ferrous blades from Hercules. My favorites, actually. Like, here, I got one on the shelf right here behind you, actually. These right here. This is what I run on my skill saw. Now, you can see the teeth count, right? It's 7 1/4, 56. That's a fine cutting tooth. However, this blue coating on here, just the same as what Diablo puts on theirs, right? That red coating. Well, this is for Hercules, so it's blue. It reduces friction, reduces heat buildup, and these are really, really good for cutting aluminum. These are like 20 bucks versus a Diablo would be 60, 70, right? I buy them for my 12-inch chop saw. I think Harbor Freight, they're 49 or 59 versus Diablo or a Lennox or any, you know, insert your favorite metal cutting blade here, is going to be over that $100 mark. So like, these are really good for the money, and I hope they continue to make them forever. I buy them every chance I get because they are hard to find. Okay, put that there. That is 1/4 inch, or it's probably 3/16. It's tread plate, okay? So what you would call a 1/4 inch tread plate will actually be 3/16. Yep, I'll call it 3/16. Okay, so 0.190 with the tread plate on top. All in all, it's right at a 1/4 inch full width. All right, so fair enough. You know what it is. Let's see if it cuts it and what the cut looks like. Okay, nothing bad. I tell you what, let's have a comparison with a 7 1/4 inch blade. Okay, nothing special. Cobalt 7 1/4 inch. This is the 15 amp one. Okay, and I don't even have a good blade on here. This is just a, I believe, a 24 tooth. I'm not sure on that, but anyway, you can see it's not a non-ferrous blade, but a standard blade will cut aluminum. It just doesn't last very long. You can see the mar around there, and it's starting to build up on the carbide. So anyway, let's just compare this, which has plenty of power, to that, and, you know, see about ease of use, how long it takes to get across, things of that nature. Okay, first reaction, obviously that's not the perfect blade. A little more violent, of course, because it has more power. To me, that more power gives you more control over how hard you have to push. You know, I don't know that it's necessary. What I like about that, now that is lightweight for a skill saw, because that's how I prefer it, right? I'm jumping in and out of boats, I'm doing all these things, and sometimes I'm running a skill saw upside down, all right? Check local listings, work at your own pace. But this, on the other hand, could be very handy in situations, but to me it's also somewhat scary because it is so light. And I've had kickbacks before with light saws trying to do something out of position, okay? And I can't stress this enough. A heavy saw will not kick back as hard or as quickly. I can't say as quickly, okay? But a heavy saw is less dangerous when it comes down to it. The lightweight of this kind of scares me. Now, I understand that, you know, it's more or less a power hacksaw, okay? But it will cut some things, okay? It's not, I don't think it's gonna be complete garbage. It actually absolutely has its place. And for 89 bucks, I'm probably gonna use the hell out of it, okay? But I'm really, really hoping that Harbor Freight comes out with that non-ferrous blade. Fair enough for me, all right? You don't need a non-ferrous blade because you're a steel welder. You know, I'm probably asking a lot here. This is 3-inch C-channel. I was going to cut this end off, but it's been welded right there. Some previous hack, okay? Like, I want to show what it's capable of, but I don't want to just ruin the blade either. I'll tell you what, let me try to cut across here where there's no weld, okay? The weld would be a lot harder than mild steel, and that will ruin a blade faster by trying to cut a weld out, okay? So anytime you need to cut a weld, get your cut-off wheel, your skinny wheel, whatever it takes. I don't recommend using a steel blade to try to cut, to try to cut anything. So we can go right in here without touching that. All right, throw my helmet down. Here we go. Cover your ears. Okay, now that absolutely did cut that. Let me find it. I don't want to grab it with my bare hands because it could be hot. Let's find out. Okay, throw it right there. It's cool to the touch. Okay, so yes, it took a little longer. But look at there, that's probably the best cut all day. That's the saw didn't want to wander on a heavy piece of material. Now, this would be about 5/16 back in here, and then our webbing would probably be, it's thicker than 1/8, not quite 3/32, but gives you an idea of what that's capable of, right? So, you see it bogged down a little bit, but it didn't throw the breaker, or it didn't shut the battery off, right? A lithium battery, if it has too much of a load on it, it'll shut off. And we didn't witness that. So all in all, it did what it's supposed to, and that's pretty impressive that little saw will cut 3-inch angle. So let's wrap it up. Let's get out of here. What do you think? Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I know there's going to be somebody, you're just buying Milwaukee, you'll be all right. Well, okay. Hey, have your happy day. Thank you. For the rest of us, I think this is fine. I really do. I'm going to grade it like an 8.5 out of 10. That's completely random. I've never graded anything before in my life. You have no other video to back that up, and I have no other metal cutting portable saw experience to put up against this. So I like it. I don't love it. When it comes down to it, this is just a straight honest review. A plastic window, you're cutting hot metal, okay? So it's not real hot, but it's still metal. How long do you think clear plastic is going to stay clear plastic? It's gonna scratch up, okay? It's probably going to crack if we have a little kickback of a piece of metal like I had earlier, right? This should be a replacement item, Bauer. Like, at least on your website, all right? Let's talk about that for just a second. So, I got this out for a reason. This was a really, really good item. And I know some people are going to say, ew, God, I swear, this guy, all he runs is junk. Okay, maybe this isn't a video for you. I love this thing. Like, yes, it lacks a little bit of power, and yes, it's a little cumbersome. It was $80. I have tore entire buildings down with this thing and a couple batteries, okay? But the worst part of this was, and if you haven't checked this video out, I'll try to put it in the card or in the description because this was like a really excellent video for the channel. The reason this sucked and why a lot of people didn't run out and buy it immediately was because it didn't have support. It didn't have a chain that you could buy. It didn't have a blade or a bar for you to go buy. These are rare items, and they should be able to be replaced. I understand this is a throwaway world, right? The people that shop at Harbor Freight don't want to buy stuff that is thrown away. We just don't. We just don't want to pay extra for things. So, and maybe there's somebody listening out there with enough gumption, better than I. Start a website, start a e-commerce deal. Just start supporting all of the things that Harbor Freight doesn't support. How about that? All right. And the reason I'm saying that is because I know this piece right here is probably not replaceable yet, okay? And only having one blade option is kind of a dumb move, in my opinion, because that's for steel, okay? You could easily made a non-ferrous blade for aluminum. You could have made a tile cutting blade for this, and it would have worked just fine, all right? I digress. All in all, I think it'll be fine. You know, you get what you pay for. Absolutely no discretion here, but I like paying very little and having a lot of things, and I'm going to run the snot out of this with some aluminum just as soon as I find a non-ferrous blade. Hey, my name is Dustin Apple, hashtag Whiteriverrambo. If you get a minute, go on over to Facebook and check out my little shop page, Whiteriverrambo Customs, located right here in Salem, Indiana. If you need any aluminum fabrication work done, go ahead and reach on out, holler at me, and we'll take care of you. Yeah, stay safe, shoot straight, shoot often. Don't forget to wear the personal flotation devices when you're out there chasing guys and critters. See you all in the next one.